Once upon a time, there was a terrible, awful Airbnb guest. For privacy reasons, let's call him Larry. Larry booked this beautiful house on Airbnb and told the host that he was coming out for a quiet trip. A little remote working and a little relaxing, he said. When check-in day came, Larry got to the house and decided it was far too warm inside for his liking, so he cranked the AC down to 50 degrees. The lower I set it, the faster it will cool off, he said. While he waited for the house to cool off, he went to the backyard to go for a swim. But when he touched the water, he decided it was far too cold for his liking, so he found the pool equipment and turned the heater up to 95 degrees. That will be the perfect temp for swimming, and the host won't ever know. While he waited for the pool to warm up, he wanted to lounge in the sun. But after a few minutes, he decided it was far too quiet and he was extremely bored, so he turned on some music as loud as his speaker would go and also texted some friends to drive out so they could party all weekend.
Okay, so Larry is obviously a fictional character, but we have hosted guests who have done a lot of those things. Thankfully, we have good smart home equipment in place so that we can quickly step in.
We'll be talking all about automating your vacation rental home and improving your operations, and also how you can make sure Larry isn't messing with all your stuff. What's up everyone, I'm Steven.
And I'm Kylie, and welcome to our channel.
One of the biggest challenges hosts face is making sure properties are running smoothly even though they can't physically be there all the time. That's where smart home equipment can help.
There are so many different types of smart home equipment out there, and we know that it can be tricky, especially as a new host, to try and weed through what's really necessary versus what's just this cool, shiny thing where the price tag doesn't always match the usefulness.
We're going to simplify things by breaking down a few key areas where smart home equipment can help with operational efficiency, ensure guests are compliant with our house rules, and just generally give you a good peace of mind that things are running smoothly at a property.
Before we get started, if you could please just take a sec to hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps a little channel like ours gain favor with the YouTube algorithm, and we'd really appreciate it.
So there are 9 areas that we found that smart home equipment really helps with our operation. And the first up is cameras.
Cameras get a bad rap. At first thought, they may sound a little creepy or like an invasion of privacy, but honestly, that's not what they're about for us. We don't have the time or the desire to sit around and spy on our guests and watch cameras all day.
We install cameras above the driveway or the entryway of the house, and that helps us monitor traffic into and out of the property. Like, it's past checkout time, is the guest gone, did the cleaners show up? All these little things are quick and easy to check. Or there's that nightmare scenario where it's late at night, you're getting a lot of notifications from a property, and you look and there's a steady stream of people and cars out front. That looks like a party. Cameras don't have to be a pricey investment. A cheap and simple camera will do. We've tried all the big brands, all the price points, and we found that models from Wise or Eufy give us the most bang for our buck.
Now, these cameras that Steven mentioned aren't perfect, and you'll find fancier features and maybe better user interface with big companies like Ring or Nest, but we have to remember that these are investment properties and we want to keep our operating costs as low as possible, so if a cheaper camera will do everything that we need it to do, why not choose that option? We also always choose hardwired cameras over battery powered. We haven't had very good experience with the battery life in the battery powered cameras, and it's just one more thing to keep track of and keep charged.
Finding power for a camera may sound intimidating, but in most cases, especially with houses with garages, we found that it's usually pretty easy to drill a small hole in an exterior wall or the roof soffit and then run surface wiring to the nearest outlet. We've also tapped power off exterior lights, and that could be an easy job for an electrician.
The second category is thermostats. We love Wi-Fi thermostats. A majority of the properties that we manage are in a desert climate, and when summertime comes, those guests arrive, and so many of them will walk in the door just like Larry and crank the AC down to 60 or lower.
And that's where the Wi-Fi thermostat comes in. We're all for letting guests be comfortable, but there are reasonable limits that help keep your utility bills at a reasonable level and reduce the strain on your equipment.
I think a lot of people don't realize that setting the thermostat that low doesn't speed up the cooling of the house and really can be detrimental to your equipment. Wi-Fi thermostats also let you adjust the temperature remotely. So for example, if you have a couple day gap between two guests, you could put the temperature at kind of an eco level while it's vacant, and then bring it up to a comfortable temperature before the next guest arrives.
There are many brands and price points for thermostats, but after trying a lot, we really like the Sensi brand. They're relatively inexpensive, simple to install, and one of the clutch features is you can set limits that guests can't override.
Third up on the list is door locks. Dealing with physical keys is no fun. People lose them or take them by accident or take them on purpose. What was that FBI guy? I was gonna maybe tell that story. Moral of the story is, whenever possible, use a smart lock. Then you can just change that lock code and not have to call out an emergency locksmith, which in that situation was Steven, and he had to rekey the sliding door, which wasn't really what he wanted to do that day.
That's where smart locks really save the day. You can connect to them through your phone from anywhere, grant access, lead access, change codes, all from a simple user interface.
We've tried out, like with all of the other smart home equipment, we've tried out a lot of different price points and brands, and we've had the most luck with the Slage on code.
And code.
And code.
I don't know how you say it. Also give an honorable mention to the Kwikset Halo series. They're a little bit cheaper, and Kwikset has made a lot of firmware improvements in the last few months.
We also like to use electronic locks on our supply closet. These are a little bit different than smart locks in that, they don't have an app interface where you can change codes remotely, but it does alleviate the need for keys, so we find the electronic locks are a lot easier.
Number 4 on the list is garage doors. We buy the MyQ smart garage door controller from Chamberlain at every property with a garage, and we haven't found a property yet that wasn't compatible with these openers, and they give us a few nice features.
First, and arguably the most important feature with the MyQ, is the ability to open and close the garage doors from anywhere, anytime. So we've had issues in the past with batteries going bad in keypads, or a guest leaves and forgets to close the garage door after they left, and that's where MyQ saves the day.
You can also set the app to give you notifications when the door's been open for a number of minutes, for example.
This is especially an issue in densely populated areas like Mission Beach, where petty theft is high. So we're able to see that the garage was left open, actually get an alert when a garage is left open, and close it ourselves via the app.
Another thing that's helpful is a history of when the door was last opened or closed. And this goes back to just our operational checks, where you can see if a guest was gone or if the cleaners have come and gone. It's just another piece of information.
From a convenience standpoint, MyQ is great because if you have a lot of properties, you don't have to carry around a lot of garage door clickers in your car. All you have to do is open the app on your phone. You can do it either when you're right in front of the house or just down the street, and then the garage door is open, you pull right in.
You can also share access with your whole team via the MyQ app, which is great.
We love MyQ.
Next up is Wi-Fi routers. Simply put, the Wi-Fi routers that most internet service providers give out are garbage. Yeah. Do yourself a favor, save probably a monthly fee renting a router from them, get a modem only from the internet service provider, and buy a decent router.
People often think that connection dropouts or instability is because of the ISP, but in reality, it's usually the router causing the instability, not the actual connection to the internet.
We've standardized most of our portfolio on the Orbi router series from Netgear. These are relatively easy to set up. They're rock solid stable. We get great signal coverage from them. There's also the ability to add satellite units, which helps expand your Wi-Fi coverage for a large property. Orbi series also has a simple app where you can monitor usage remotely and see what devices are connected to the network and just general status of the connection.
Being able to check on the status remotely is a good way of troubleshooting any internet issues that may come up with a guest. If they're telling us that they're having connectivity issues, we can log on and see, is our camera connected? Is our noise monitor connected? And if those devices are okay, then maybe it's just a matter of the guest restarting their device.
All of these details are just a long-winded way of saying ditch the ISP router.
Yeah, it may seem like more of an upfront investment, but take a look at the contract that you have right now with your ISP, and more than likely you are paying a monthly rental fee for your router, so it's going to even out, if not save you money in the long run.
Category 6 is pool equipment, and we know this won't apply to everyone, but here in the Palm Springs area, pools are everywhere. Smart pool equipment helps simplify the guest experience and allows us to step in if a guest is having any issues. We've had one situation where this is a difference between 6 pages of house manual instructions with pictures to turn the spa on can be replaced with just one button on a remote.
We can also keep an eye on use and make sure that guests aren't adjusting the settings without our knowledge. Remember Larry from our story? That actually happened. And it only takes one guest who had the pool heated to 101 degrees for an entire week to convince an owner that investing in smart pool equipment is worth it.
We've used all the pool equipment brands and they all have their pros and cons, but we really like the Pentair Screen Logic system over the others.
Yeah, that's definitely our favorite, even though it's not perfect. I don't know, do you have a least favorite?
I don't really care for I don't like the Jandy ones or the Hayward ones, and those are the other main 2 brands. So the Pentair app interface is nice and simple, and on the equipment side, it's pretty straightforward to set up.
Okay, category number 7 is smart TVs.
So pretty much every TV you buy these days has smart features with downloadable apps, and simplicity is the name of the game with guests, and one remote should be the goal. We also try to avoid things like cable boxes and home theater systems and other gadgets.
Like Steven said, one remote is our goal. We do have one property that has a projector screen and guests love it, but it is complicated to use. It's multi-step, and we end up spending a good amount of time on the phone walking guests through troubleshooting, even though we have very detailed directions in our house manuals.
So I guess there is a trade-off. Having high-tech things or cool features like that projector are nice, but you've got to prepare yourself for dealing with the technologically challenged guests that won't read the house manual, or also changes all your settings, and then you have to talk them through how to get them back.
If you get rid of your cable box, there are some great live TV streaming options. We personally like YouTube TV, which will eliminate the need for the cable box, and guests can still watch their favorite TV shows right when they air. Dancing with the Stars, Bachelor.
Or sports.
Or sports. Go sports.
In our experience, TVs with the Roku interface are simple, they have a good app selection, so we try and standardize on that wherever we can.
Some of the other little perks of using Roku are, one, that the remotes are interchangeable between rooms and different TVs. Also, if for some reason your remote goes bad, and all of the remotes go bad in the house that are interchangeable, guests can download the app on their phone and easily navigate through the TV options that way. We do like to keep a spare Roku remote in our supply closet. Those remotes, I don't know who or what is taking them, but they go missing.
And they're cheap. I think they're like $7 or $8 on Amazon. So having a spare around is always a good thing.
And lots of batteries.
Next up is lighting. This is a quick one. These days, Wi-Fi light switches are around $20, and this is just a simple addition. We like to put in entryway lighting where you can easily set a schedule and guests don't show up to a pitch dark house.
Number 9 on our list, and probably the most important one, is noise monitors. Vacation rentals get a bad rep for being these crazy party houses and destroying neighborhoods, and it's not lost on us that there are some bad operators out there that do have these party houses where they're not being monitored and guests aren't being vetted, and there's no rules to be held accountable for.
Nevertheless, noise monitors are a simple addition for peace of mind and oversight. We use monitors from a company called Minute, and we install them primarily in the outdoor areas where if there was guest noise, it would be a disturbance to the neighbors.
These devices don't record any sound, so they're not an invasion of privacy, but they do need to be disclosed in your listing. That's very, very important. They basically function the same way a smoke alarm does, where once a customizable noise threshold is passed, then we get a notification.
The device can also sense motion, so this is helpful to establish where the noise is coming from. If it's sensing motion in that area, like the back patio of a house, for example, that points a finger towards the guest. If there's noise but no motion, then maybe it's something like the neighbors.
If and when we do get a notification, we take a look at the decibel level and the duration, and if there have been any motion triggers on the cameras, and then we can use all of that information to decide if we should politely ask the guest to quiet down.
Yeah, it's better, to be proactive and on top of this than to piss off your neighbors or have them get to the point where they're calling in a complaint to the city. So if you've stayed with us this far, you must like what you're hearing at least a little bit. So just a reminder, hit that subscribe button. Also, click the little bell for notifications because we'll be releasing new videos regularly.
And as always, if there's any specific topic that you would like to see us cover, please leave us a comment below and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.
Bye.